everyone, myself Jayalekshmi.M, Assistant Professor, School of Pharmacy, Rai University. Today I am going to discuss about integumentary system. So, integumentary system. In integumentary system, we have comprises, like in our integumentary system, it comprises skin and other associated structures such as hairs, nails, and glands, etc. And it also serve several essential functions, same like protection it has, and regulation, sensation, secretion in the sense like glands we have, right? So dermatology is the medical specialty for the diagnosis and the uh, treatment of skin. How we will treat our skin disorders and how we will diagnose the skin related problems. And next, skin is the largest organ in our body and it acts as a protective barrier against the external threats such as pathogens, etc. And it has mainly three layers. Outer layer is the epidermis, and second one is the dermis. The third layer is the subcutaneous tissue or the hypodermis. And epidermis is the outer layer of the skin and it provides waterproof barrier, contains cells that produce melanin and it's responsible for skin color. So skin color, it's depend on our how much melanin will secrete. Like if the melanin production is more, then there will be the chance to get more tanning, same like that. And dermis is the second layer and it contains blood vessels, nerves, hair follicles and the sweat glands, and it provides support and nourishment to the epidermal layer. And third layer is the last one, and one we have to remember that mainly epidermis and the dermis are the skin layers and subcutaneous coming the deepest one. So it actually it's a skin layer, but we are considering mainly this two only. It's our subcutaneous tissue is coming very deepest, and subcutaneous tissue primarily composed of fat and connective tissue and serving insulation and provide cushioning activity. Cushioning. And next, here we can see the structure of the skin. The outer layer you can see our epidermis. This is the epidermis layer, and here we can see the dermis. Dermis has again two layers, papillary and the reticular layer. And hypodermis you can see. These are the deepest layer of our skin. And we have hair shaft also. Hair shaft arising from our hypodermis. There you can see, and sweat glands we can see, erector pillae, that we all know, like for goosebumps. Whenever we get goosebumps because of this erector pillae muscle only, our hair will become like this. And next, okay, so this is about the our structure of the skin. So comes to the epidermis. Stratum corneum. Stratum corneum is the outer layer of the skin, and the second one is stratum lucidium. So first of all, I have to explain epidermis. Epidermis has mainly five layers. Outer layer is the stratum corneum. Second one is stratum lucidium. Third one is stratum granulosum. Fourth one stratum spinosum, and the fifth one stratum basale. So stratum basale is, we can see like the layer which separating our epidermis and the dermis. So next, here we can see dead cells filled with keratin. Okay, so here in this figure you can see the layers of the epidermis. So here we can see alveolar cells, and if it's coming to upper, there we can see dead cells. So here you can see some dead cells. These are the dead keratinocytes. For example, at the time of winter time, if we are rubbing our hand, we can see some whitish powder. That is dead keratinocytes. So stratum corneum, there we can see, and the stratum corneum is the outer layer, and that doesn't have nucleus. And same like that, stratum lucidium also you can see, that is the epidermal second layer. And third layer, stratum granulosum, there you can see, and stratum spinosum, there we can see keratinocytes, and stratum basale. So this is the structure of epidermis layers. So stratum corneum. So I already discussed stratum corneum is the outer layer, right? So it is the outermost layer of the epidermis, and it gives protection to our skin. You can see the structure here, same like we have seen that dandruff. Dandruff, we can say the example of dead keratinocytes. Yes, same. And okay, it continuously shed and replaced by cells from the lower layer that I already explained. Like this is our skin, and the upper side we have the dead keratinocyte. Like slowly it will grow. For example, tattoo also we can say the example for that. Whenever we did tattoo, after that, after a few years, it will the color will disappear, right? So that means like the new cells are coming upper. So next, stratum lucidium. So stratum lucidium is the thick skin, and we can see in the soles on palms, like palms and the soles, we can see stratum lucidium. These are the thickest and translucent cells. Next, stratum granulosum. Stratum granulosum layer contains granules that contain substances like keratohyalin, and which contributes to the formation of keratin. So keratin we can see in the stratum granulosum. And the next layer is stratum spinosum. Stratum spinosum, another name is prickle cell layer, and the cells in this layer are no longer actively dividing but are connected by structures as desmosomes and giving them spiky appearance, and support which giving the support to the epidermis. And stratum basale is the base of the epidermis, and it is the innermost layer of the epidermis and direct contact with basement membrane, and that separates the epidermis from the underlying dermis. So second layer is the dermis, and dermis is the second layer and situated beneath the epidermis. Here we can see our dermis layer, and it has two layers, papillary layer and the reticular layer. There we can see glands, blood vessels and all. So papillary layer, you can see this is our epidermis layer, and papillary dermis we can see this is reticular dermis. So papillary layer is the upper layer of the dermis, and it consists loose connective tissue, and it has small projections called dermal papillae, and which extends into the epidermis, forming ridges, valleys that contribute to the fingerprints and enhance grip. So for example, we can say the about our fingerprints, because of the ridges only we have the fingerprints. And second layer of the dermis, reticular layer, and reticular layer is the deeper layer of the our dermis, and it is thicker layer of the dermis, primarily composed of dense irregular connective tissue. And there we can see blood vessel, lymphatic vessel and nerve endings. Sweat glands, sebaceous gland, collagen, elastic fibers, this all are having different functions also. Okay. Blood vessels. Blood vessels we can see in our dermal area, and it's giving nourishment, I mean like nutrient supply, and regulating body temperature. So for example, we can say vasoconstriction and vasodilation. It's that means like regulating the body temperature, right? And next we have, okay, next we have nerve endings. If somebody touched us, then we are able to understand the person touched us, right? So for touch, pain, that all sensation we are able to understand that because of we have nerve endings in our skin. So there we can see epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis, right? So in this dermis area, there we can see different types of receptors. Thermoreceptor we have, mesons corpuscle we have, nociceptor we have, Pacinian corpuscle, and thus all nerve endings are having different functions. So, for example, thermoregulator, for to understand if we if it's in winter time, we are able to understand. Yeah, this is like we are able to understand cold, right? Same like that, heat means heat also we are able to understand that because of we have thermoreceptors and touch. If somebody touched, we are able to understand that because of Mesner's corpuscle and senses of pain, a cut, wound, that all because of nociceptors and Pacinian corpuscles for to identify the pressure. If we are standing like this and the wind is there, that means we are able to understand. Yeah, that from that side wind is coming, right? That because of Pacinian corpuscle. So different types of nerve endings we have for sensation. And hair follicles and the glands. Different types of glands we have. Mainly I can say ceruminous gland and sebaceous gland, pseudoreferous glands. Mainly we can say that three glands. And more glands we have actually. And hair follicles also, we have hair follicles, nothing but which giving protection to us. And for example, on scalp we have which giving the protection to our scalp, and we have hairs in our nose also, which preventing the entry of microorganism or any other dust particles too. So it's acting as a protection for us. And okay, so there we can see the how our hair is just erasing from our skin. Here we can see, and our hair is the keratinocytes, like keratin extension from our skin. And next which playing important role in the temperature regulation also. The third layer is the subcutaneous layer. Subcutaneous layer is the third layer and it's known as hypodermis. Hypodermis is the another name of subcutaneous layer, and this is the deepest layer of the skin located beneath the dermis. Beneath the dermis, hypodermis, epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. So three layers we can see here. So here we can see hypodermis. Hypodermis is different as compared to remaining two layers, and it often discussed in conjunction with the skin anatomy due to its proximity and functional relation with the skin. And the subcutaneous layer is primarily composed of adipose tissue, connective tissue, and the blood vessels. So there we can see blood vessel, adipose tissue, and connective tissue also. So for example, if we get serious injury like kind of accident, that time the bleeding also, like continuously we will bleed, right? So minor cuts we for example, how can I say, okay, so dermis, in the dermis we have small blood vessel, that means for the mild cuts we will get small, less amount of bleeding. If we are getting major accidents or any accidents, that time the bleeding also bigger like we are not able to control that because blood vessel we have the as compared to dermis layer, in the subcutaneous layer we have the bigger blood vessels. And okay, this is all about subcutaneous layer. So we just studied about integumentary system and the how many layers we have in skin. Thank you.